Hey guys, DJ Sets of Little Hearts Academy USA and Imperfect Heroes podcast. And I am talking to you today about a few things. First off is on June 14th, we're going to start the Resilient Women's Leadership Summit. And I am a featured speaker, so I was really excited to be invited to be part of that. And so I'll go ahead and put the link in the show notes. It's free. You can attend it. And there are experts from all over the world that have been invited. And I just happen to be one of them. So I'm pretty excited. My workshop is going to be on the morning of the 17th. And so if you wanted more information, just shoot me a reply or an email and I will have the link down in the comments. So today we are talking about imposter syndrome. I know, kind of weird, huh? But we're talking about how parents, when they go back to work, can feel like an imposter. When you first become a parent, you can feel like an imposter. I don't know what I'm doing. What am I thinking being a parent, right? I can even remember my when I was pregnant with my oldest. And I remember just kind of having a panic attack about halfway through the pregnancy. And I was working at the time and I went into the bathroom and was just kind of trying to gather myself. And the office manager came in and I was trying to, hide my stuff. And she's like, "Are you okay?" And I just said, "I don't know." And then I just started crying again. And I was 21 at that point. I was 22 by the time I had her. But um, I said, "I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know if I'm going to be a good mom. I don't know how I'm going to manage all of this." And she just kind of smiled and patted my shoulder. And she said, "You're going to be just fine." And that was so nice to hear. But so my guest is Catherine Lamb, and she's from the UK, and she helps people get through those moments when you're so unsure about yourself. You're starting a new job, and do I really know what I'm doing? And here I am, a parent, and now I'm going to try and work and be a parent. And how hard is that? And you're so afraid of different things that we actually get talking about some of those things that come up. One of the reasons, I guess, for this imposter syndrome thing is that we have this ideal of perfectionism, right? So you want to prove yourself that being a mom or a new dad isn't going to affect your performance at work. And so you push yourself so hard to show and prove yourself. Or you don't want to let the fact that you're working and away from home most of the day to have an effect on your child. And so you're overdoing, and you want everything to be perfect. And the reality is there's no perfection. That's why the podcast is Imperfect Heroes, right? And so you kind of need to be able to take a breath. You can put your hand on your heart, another hand on your belly. You can feel your heartbeat. You can feel your rhythm of your breathing, and you feel better, and you can calm kind of down when you're having those stressful moments. And the reality is that there's no perfect employee, there's no perfect parent, there's no perfect person, there's no perfect boss, there's no perfect teacher. Whatever it is that you've got going on, that you can do your best. And you can watch, and if you make mistakes, and you will, that you can look back and instead of beating yourself up over it, you can say, "Oh gosh, where did I go wrong?" Right? And then you track it back, see where it was, what can I learn? And then, the only big failures are when you fail to learn from the experience and move forward, right? And so Catherine is so amazing at coaching people through all of these things, right? I'm going to put my glasses back on for a second. And so I really want you to give yourself that grace and to help you, calm down. Things are fixable. You can manage it. And if it is too much, it's not a failure. It just means that maybe there's a different route, a different path for you that you can take to make things better, to make things um, more corrected, to fit your family, to fit you and your needs, your child and their needs. And so sometimes it's just some hit and miss and whatever, right? Um, but oh my goodness, excuse me. But so um, another thing to give yourself some thoughts on are, you know, no nobody really has taught us how to be a perfect parent. We can have great parents, right? And we can learn things from them. We can have parents older than I am, and I haven't talked to her in a million years. But when I was a 3-year-old in the apartment, well, it didn't take long. She was smart, and it didn't take long for her to figure out how to unlock the door and get out. And from what she told me after we both became adults and we reconnected for a short time, that it was the neighbors, the other people in the apartment complex were aware of the situation and they would watch out for her. Her mom didn't bathe her. Her mom didn't take care of her with, good food or whatever. I guess her mom was very disconnected, and so the neighbors would take her in and they would go into the apartment, get fresh clothes. They would make sure that she was bathed, made sure she was fed. And then she said that she remembers she would just decide, I'm going swimming. So she'd get her little swimsuit on and she'd get a towel. I mean, pretty responsible for a 3 or 4-year-old. And she would try to go into the pool area, which was locked. But she remembers how some of the neighbors would come and they would watch her while they were swimming, and they had their own kids in swimming as well. And so they would just keep an eye on her, and they would make sure that if they left and no one else was there to watch her, that she had to leave the pool and she would go in. But one of the things that was interesting, because I told her, I remembered her singing that song to me. And she said, that's the craziest thing that you remember that. I said, yeah, that's really, that's the main thing I remember about you. And she said that was the one thing that my mom did that was motherly toward me, is she would sing that Alice in Wonderland song at nighttime when she was trying to get me to go to sleep. So even with all of that negativity, all of that abandonment and neglect and all of the stuff that went on, and she told me that my mom had kind of taken her in and would have her over a lot. I remember her being around a lot and, kind of helped her out through her teen years. But she was able, instead of rejecting everything that her mom did, there was that one memory that was good, and she honored that memory, and she passed it on not only to me, but to her own children as she had them later on as well. So as we panic and we think, well, my parents did this wrong and that wrong, and I don't know what to do. I mean, I know what I don't want to do, but I don't know really what to do instead. And so that's kind of where I come in, honestly, is because I know that feeling. I know how it feels to grow up in a home that is physically abusive and emotionally humiliating and dehumanizing. Um, but I also know that my mom was trying to do the best she could. She was bipolar. And so, you know, she was just doing whatever she could do. And it took me a long, 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 long time to get over things and to start looking at things with some compassion toward my mom. And guess what? My life, gosh, it's so much better. But so there were things that I wanted to keep, but there were things that I knew I didn't want to do. The physical abuse, the lashes with an extension cord on my bare back. That wasn't good. But I knew I didn't want to do those kinds of things, but I didn't know what to do instead. And so it took a lot of thinking and pondering and determination and learning and finding answers to get me to where I felt like I was doing okay as a mom. And I've continued with that. I can help you go through that process of, but what do I do instead? I've got tons of experience and ideas. I got my degree in early childhood, and so I understand the developmental stages. I also understand from teaching, well, raising my own 5 kids, but also teaching kindergarten for so many years and teaching even preschool for some time in there, that uh, how kids react, how we can help them to calm down, to look outwardly, and to do all of those things. So Catherine, I'm sorry, Catherine and I just had some a great conversation about, how to do that, to understand that, so many of us aren't really schooled in how to be a parent, in um, how to make things work. And one of the things that I really liked that she said in the podcast was that perfectionism is an addiction to uh, routines. And in fact, I have the quote right here. Um, she said, um, it's an addiction to process. It's not just avoiding mistakes, it's an addiction. And if things don't go exactly to through the process of, whatever it is that we're supposed to do, we think we're failures. We're total failures, and we don't give ourselves any kind of grace or or just peace and say, I'll fix it. We're fine. We can do it. And it's not a big ordeal. And she also says that, and I have another quote that I put down here. I think, excuse me, I think it's societal expectation around women that we are nurturing and giving, and that it's selfish of us to think about our needs. And I think sometimes we don't think about our needs, but hey, Nephi, but that we hope other people will. So oftentimes when you're feeling that and you're feeling like, I don't know what I'm doing, I don't know how this is going to work or how it's going to go, you are going to need to just step back and say, okay, what's happening here? Either I'm not meeting the needs of my kids, I'm not setting themselves or myself up for success, or my needs are not getting met. And so I want us to really give ourselves that break. And Catherine really helps us with that process in this podcast episode. And so I hope you're going to listen to it. And I would love it if you want to leave a comment either here on the Facebook page or leave a comment on the podcast page. So if you listen to the podcast, you can go through the www.imperfectheroespodcast.com. It's really easy for you to leave a rating and a review, which I could use. Every time you leave a comment or a review, it helps get the word out. So it plays with the schematics and so it becomes more visible. So feel free to comment often. And then I want everyone to know that we're also posting some things of the different podcasts and different appearances that I have on YouTube and then on Rumble. So if you're going to look for me on Rumble, it's the channel is Imperfect Heroes, easy peasy. And then on YouTube, it's Little Hearts Academy. So if you just look for those things on either YouTube or Rumble, and then be sure to follow or subscribe, whatever it is, and leave comments. Every comment you leave helps me to be seen by more people. So I really appreciate that. And then again, if you know anybody who might be interested in the Resilient Women's Leadership, let them know, tell them about it. And there's just so many great workshops. And so you can attend for free, or you can pay to be a VIP. And you get, like, with that, you get access to everything for a whole year. And then every speaker has to give a gift. And so you've got gifts from every speaker that you can choose to use. So I hope that if you know anybody who might be interested in that, go ahead and let them no. And then additionally, in July, I am going to be teaching, well, I have two things in July. I'm teaching a babysitting workshop. So it's 4 nights in a row and it's an hour each night. And it's through Counsel Academy, Counsel Academy. And I can put that link in the comments as well, but it's a certified course. And so if you know someone who's wanting to start babysitting, we talk about how to keep everyone safe, how to have expectations. And so I'm sorry, I've got an itchy eye. So each day, like we start out with infants, and then the next day we're going to focus on toddlers. The next day we are focusing on preschoolers, so you can see how we're graduating up. And then the last day we are talking about elementary age kids. And then in between and everything, we're going to talk about little pieces of entrepreneurship. And so we're going to teach our students how to look at their babysitting as a business. And so it's going to introduce them to a lot of these ideas about marketing and getting referrals and repeat business and being strategic about all of that, so that they're starting to learn about those things so that they have that knowledge even as they grow older and do other things, go on to different jobs and different things. So we're getting them on that path. So it's kind of like a 2-for-1 with the kids. So we've got that in July. And then July 10 through 14, we are doing our next challenge, and it is 5 days of peace. And so we're going to talk about bringing peace into your lives. So if you just go to the website, www.littleheartsacademyusa.com, you're going to have access to that. Just click on it. It's free. And so, but you're going to get emails. We're going to do lives. We're going to have support and a community where people can share what they're doing or ask questions or look for ideas. But every email that you get every day will have ideas based on the focus for that day, and finding peace and bringing peace to you, to your family, who knows, maybe even the world, right? So there we are. And I'll be back next week. And I hope that you'll go ahead and listen to the podcast or check us out on YouTube or Rumble. We're going to get those up. I might get those up tonight, or it could be tomorrow. We'll just kind of have to see what my timing is. So anyway, Nephi, it was great seeing you. Thanks for watching. And everyone, we will be back next Tuesday. Right now, I'm heading over to Instagram on my Imperfect Hero page, and we're going to do a live there as well. So see you later, guys. Bye-bye.